video here, okay? It's going to be a very exciting video. Can anyone guess? Well, I suppose the title of the video gave it away, but look, whatever. Here it is, look, Intertextuality. And there's myself, Dr. Bill Mullen. Intertextuality is a very important thing when it comes to critical engagement, critical analysis, anything to do with your lit review, anything to do with your supervisor moaning at you, threatening to throw you out of the office, fail you, whatever. Sometimes you'll see the word intertextuality, you'll see different versions of it. It essentially means cross-pollinating the studies you have in your lit review. Is my microphone still? It is still on. Cross-pollination, using different studies, using more than one study, obviously. Don't just have one study in your thesis. And it basically involves, as we'll see here on the next slide, I'll get straight into it. Playing a significant role in academia across varied... Oh, okay, where am I? Yes, sorry. Here we go, look. The interconnectedness, that was the word I couldn't remember. Where one text is influenced by and referencing, where's the old laser pointer? And references other texts, creating a web of meaning and relationships. I'll tell you what, I'll do one better than the laser pointer. Where's the highlighter? So there's the one I want to say there, interconnectedness, okay? That's the most important thing there. Because you want to show that you're engaging with what you're reading. And the best way to show you're engaged in what you're reading is comparing and contrasting, okay? So here's how it's relevant in academia. We're gonna have I'm gonna have a drink of water first, actually. Someone told me you can pause the videos between sips of water, but that is for amateurs. Now look, research papers and citations, okay? I'm going to have a great crack with this highlighter now, I just discovered. Academic writing often involves referencing and building upon existing research. Scholars cite previous works to provide evidence, support arguments, and acknowledge the intellectual contributions of others. The citation system itself is a form of intertextuality, okay? So literature reviews is another way intertextuality is used. Scholars engage in intertextuality, I'm going to get sick of saying that word, by synthesizing and critically analyzing existing literature. They connect different studies, identify common themes, contrasting methodologies, and highlighting gaps in knowledge. Critical analysis, there's the word I kept banging on about, okay? Intertextuality, I shouldn't have wrote intertextuality so much in these slides, is inherent in critical analysis. Scholars... Where's my old laser pointer gone? It has disappeared. Scholars draw on theories, frameworks, and concepts developed by others to analyze and interpret data. This intertextual engagement enriches the depth and complexity of academic discourse. And then, oh, there it is back again. Building on previous research. Okay, so when scholars conduct empirical studies, they often build on existing research by referencing, that's the important thing there, earlier studies to provide context, justify methodologies, or explain theoretical foundations. That's another important concept. Interdisciplinary studies, okay, you probably heard this term a few times. So it relies heavily on intertextuality. As scholars integrate knowledge from diverse fields, this involves bringing together ideas, theories, and methodologies from different disciplines to address complex issues. Literary studies. In literature and cultural studies, intertextuality is a central concept. Scholars analyze how literary texts reference, respond to, or interpret other work. This exploration enhances the understanding of literary works within a broader cultural and historical context. And then of course you have its relevancy in academic conferences and discourse. This could be you one day. You could be out there in the academic conference or discussion I should have said. And you could be talking about intertextuality like me just here now. So academic conferences and discussions foster intertextual connections. It's where you want to present your work. And these forums provide opportunities for dialogue and collaboration, creating intellectual networks. Here's a lovely term. I'm just going to put that out there for everyone. Academic publishing. So academic publishers often encourage intellectual connections by publishing edited volumes or special issues that bring together contributions from different scholars addressing a common theme or question. Okay, look, this is what you're all here for. The literature review. Oh, I made it so small, it's so hard to read. Intertextuality is particularly significant in the context of a literature review within a thesis. A literature review involves synthesizing and critically analyzing existing research, and intertextuality plays a crucial role in establishing connections between various works. Here's how it's relevant to a literature review in a thesis, okay? So demonstrates an awareness of existing literature and positions a thesis within the opening discourse. Very important. Your thesis will open up an introduction chapter. You're going to have a background to the research, which is going to bring into view. Okay. Very important. It's going to bring into view your position, why your thesis is relevant, what gap it's hoping to fill. And it's basically you're relying on intertextuality to identify key themes, trends, and debates within a specific field. So you're doing a little bit of thematic analysis on the actual studies themselves. You're synthesizing the reviews. You're basically saying that, or synthesizing the studies, and you're basically saying, look, here's the most important topics that are coming up. Here's what everyone is yappering on about. And intertextuality is evident when a literature review draws on theoretical frameworks and concepts from previous studies to provide a foundation for the current research. So just bear with me now as I read a few more lines. I'm going to get to some juicy stuff at the very end, okay? So don't worry about it. Citations in a literature review serve as instances of intertextuality, acknowledging the influence of other works, okay? Now look at this. I'm doing the Lord's work here, okay? There's some great information here. Intertextuality is apparent when the literature review discusses and evaluates various methodological approaches used in previous studies. This helps justify the chosen methodology for the current research. Very important. And it analyzes and synthesizes multiple studies. It may highlight common findings, contradictions, or gaps in knowledge, contributing to the overall understanding of the research topic. Now, it uses intertextuality to avoid redundancy by referencing existing works and acknowledging what has already been established. This allows the author to focus on contributing new insights or addressing gaps in knowledge. That's basically saying you don't have to preamble or prologue your study with like way too much information. It's only the important stuff that's relevant to your research question, okay? Creates academic dialogue. And then the final one is it fosters academic dialogue within the literature review. So engaging with various authors and studies, the author becomes part of an ongoing conversation in the academic community. Now, while this next slide is loading, I'm just going to have a drink. The examples. Okay, finally, we get to something very exciting. I had to plug my name in there one more time. Now, how to incorporate intertextuality in academia with examples using more than 2 studies, okay? This is the juicy gossip, everyone. This is the nom. This is the best stuff here, okay? Choose relevant sources. So here's a tip, okay? So select sources that are authoritative, relevant, and credible to support your argument. This demonstrates your engagement with existing scholarship in the field. Now, Bill. Oh, look, it's already on the screen, so I can't do my big build up to it. Never mind. Look, here's a good example, okay? So when someone says, okay, look, I want you to do a little bit of, your supervisor's giving out, you're like, there's no critical engagement. This is the worst thesis I've ever read. Where's your intertextuality? Blah, blah, blah. I want to see you engage with, more than one study. And I want to see a little bit of academic writing here. We have it here, baby. Look at this. Building on Foucault's 1997 concept of disciplinary power, this study, now this is your study, examines the ways in which institutions shape individual behavior and identity formation, while also integrating insights from Goffman. There's your second study. So look, you're doing a bit of cross-pollination here. These two, they've just met, they're having a great time, regarding the performance of self in social interactions. So that's a great example, okay? Here's another one. So when you want to cite key texts in your thesis, so or foundational text, that's a very important thing as well. Oh, I could just put over it, that's better. So here you go, look, drawn on Bordeaux's 1984 theory of cultural capital and Coleman's social capital theory. So there's 2 people we're using already. This study, which is your study, explores how socio-economic background influences educational attainment and career outcomes, while also considering recent empirical research by DiMaggio and Moore, 1985, on cultural legitimacy in educational occupational settings. The great thing about these slides is that you can mute my nonsense and just read from them. So if I'm going too fast and you're saying, I just need another look at that, just hit the pause button on YouTube and you can have a look at this as much as you want. I'm basically showing you examples of when your supervisor saying you need to cite more than 2 people, you need to show how they're relevant and related to one another. This is what they're looking for. Basically saying, here's one person, here's another person, here's how they influence my study, and here's how I'm going to use that to springboard into another study. Now here's how it can be used for creating dialogues, okay? So whenever someone says, i.e. your supervisor, I want to see them talking a bit more, I want to see a dialogue, here's what you do. While Smith 2010 argues for a top-down approach to organizational change, this study adopts, which is your study, just remember that, adopts a bottom-up perspective, emphasizing the importance of employee participation and empowerment, building upon the insights of Burns and Stalker regarding organic versus mechanistic organizational structures. Now look at this. So whenever you need to highlight a gap or a contradiction, you're trying to figure out, how do I do that? How do I write that academically? Well, here you go. Despite, so that's the important word there. Extensive research on the effect. So remember our little, I don't know if anyone watched my video, probably not, on signposting. This is one of those signposting words that helps link sentences together. Despite extensive research on the effects of climate change on marine ecosystems, few studies have examined the socio-economic impacts on coastal communities, and these are the people who are mentioned in lieu of that. This study, your study, addresses this gap by investigating the adaptive strategies of fishing communities in response to changing environmental conditions, drawn on insights from the resilience literature. And then here's the resilience literature Avengers. Now, here's another one. Synthesizing multiple perspectives. So you may have gotten a talking down from your supervisor in the office about you need to synthesize multiple perspectives. You can't just mention one person all the time or two people. This is what you need to do, okay? While feminist scholars have critiqued traditional notions of leadership as masculine and hierarchical, and here's where that comes from, post-structuralist theorists offer alternative conceptualizations of leadership as relational and distributed, and here's those lads. By investigating these perspectives, this study, your study, explores the complexities of gender and power dynamics in organizational leadership drawn on empirical research by Acker and West and Zimmerman. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and just read off quotes and quotes and quotes, okay? So here's another one. So everyone just, everyone have a look at that while I have a drink. Oh, I probably should talk over this one, it's pretty important. Paraphrasing and quoting. Okay, so I have a video on paraphrasing and quoting and how to do it properly and how to avoid plagiarism. So this one here, okay, as Hall argues, now look, there's the all inverted commas. So what you're doing there, you're basically saying, here's what they said, and then you're adding a little bit of spice, a little bit of seasoning. You know, you want the extra marks, echoing the sentiments expressed by Butler. So you're recognizing that what Hall is saying in 1996, they're using Butler from 1990 regarding the performance of gender and the fluidity of identity. Okay, so I'm hoping these videos, apart from making generalized assumptions about my mental health and insanity, will help you understand academic writing and intertextuality and all those important things about sort of connecting studies together, because it is very artificial, and you can just plug all these in at the very end when you have your draft. But I don't know why. I'm just going to circle this just until I figure out what to say. I think I've said enough. You know what? I think there's nothing more that can be said. I've basically closed the book on intertextuality. There's nothing more to say about it, apart from this bit here that says hypothetical examples, spotlight. So this is me basically coming up with a hypothetical that's going to help you. So let's consider a hypothetical research topic related to the impact of social media on mental health in adolescents. In the literature review section, intertextuality would involve citing and connecting various studies that contribute to the understanding of the topic, okay? So look, several studies, and then give them, have explored the correlation between excessive social media use and increased levels of anxiety and depression in adolescents. So you can see here, look, it's very, very artificial. You can plug and play, like it's like a jigsaw puzzle. And once you follow these sort of things, you know, whenever you want to trace conceptual frameworks, just use this sort of a template. So building on the conceptual framework proposed by Smith, and then you can give a year. That's just an example surname. Regarding the role of online social interactions, this study, your study. So whenever you go like this study, I forgot to stick it in there, but it should be this current study, because it shows then that like it's your study, and then there's no illusion as to which study you're trying to talk about. Because a lot of the trouble comes from like, are they talking about Smith's study or their their own study? Sorry, you choked at that there. So current study. Now look, we have another example here, okay? Acknowledging methodological approaches. In alignment with the methodology employed by Jones and colleagues, this research, your research, utilizes a mixed methods approach to gather both quantitative data on screen time and qualitative insights into online interactions. Time for water. And then when you want to identify trends and gaps, this is a good way to do it there. So everyone look at that while I fill up my water. This has turned into an ASMR video on pouring water. I'll have a drink while everyone's still looking at the screen. I hope people are looking at the screen, because I could be just talking into the nether world at this point. Now look, so yeah, there's those two there. Let's have a look at another one, okay? Responding to critiques. It's a favorite one of mine. This is why I constantly, every day of my life. Contrary to the findings of XYZ, who suggests a limited association between social media use and mental health issues. Remember, we're still using the same topic. This current research, your research, considers additional contextual factors such as content consumption and online peer relationships contributing to a more nuanced understanding. Social media, mental health, very important topic these days. Forming, where's the old eraser? Because I know that, Jesus, technology. I'll go back to the laser pointer to save her. Forming a research narrative. By integrating findings from various studies, this research, your research, aims to construct a cohesive narrative that elucidates the complex relationship between social media use and adolescent mental health, drawn on the strengths and limitations identified in the existing literature. Okay, there's two more there for you, okay? Have a good read of them there, they're pretty good. You're being spoiled today, I'm giving you loads of examples. Working tirelessly making these examples for everyone. So yeah, we see here Bandaroo and X Brown. Oh sorry, like scholars like X. And then you have Brown, who have called for more comprehensive investigation into multifaceted impact of social media on adolescent involvement. Whenever I'm reading these out, I'm like petrified. I'm like, did I proofread this properly? So most of my time watching this screen is like looking for mistakes. But so far I've been very good. Now, everyone happy with that? Everyone read enough? I don't know who I'm talking to at this point. Okay, look. Outro time. Oh god, the thing is so small. Intertextuality. Okay, look. It's not that big a deal. There's going to be some confusion about the term, but essentially it just means throwing some people into your argument. Don't just make spurious arguments about this, and this. Throw in some people there and say, well, as X said, I can now follow on from that and say, you know, this is my point I'm making, or you know, and this is also backed up by Y. So as we've seen in these slides, very important to follow those type of templates. The examples I gave you, especially in relation to the mental health and social media one, they're invaluable for helping you tread your arguments, helping you move from one topic to the other, and more importantly, helping you just stay on topic. Unlike me, who rambles all over the place in this outro, intertextuality in this slideshow is going to help you just sort of keep within the maze I have here. Like, it's going to help you navigate that maze. Okay. Once you see this video in relation to the one on critical analysis, critical engagement, on paraphrasing and plagiarism, if you have those videos together, then you're laughing. You know, your supervisor has no power over you anymore.